Okay, so this time we focus on advanced quality management techniques, of course, in production and operation management. Advanced quality management techniques encompass a range of methodologies and strategies aimed at improving product quality, enhancing customer satisfaction, and driving continuous improvement in organizational processes and systems. And these techniques go beyond traditional quality management approaches and leverage advanced tools, technologies, and methodologies to achieve superior results. One key advanced quality management techniques is the total quality management or yung TQM, which involves a holistic approach to quality improvement that encompasses all aspects of the organization. TQM emphasizes the importance of customer focus, continuous improvement, employee involvement, and process optimization to achieve excellence in the quality and performance. Another advanced technique is Six Sigma, which focuses on reducing defects and variation in processes to improve quality and consistency. So Six Sigma uses a data-driven approach and the statistical tools to identify and eliminate sources of variation, improve process performance, and achieve high levels of quality and efficiency. We have, of course, lean manufacturing techniques that is also advanced quality management approaches that aim to eliminate waste, streamline processes, and maximize value for customers. Lean principles such as just-in-time production, Kanban systems, and value stream mapping help organizations optimize process, reduce lead times, and improve overall efficiency and quality. So actually, this is already discussed in our strategic management. And to give us more details about the topic, let us all welcome our presenter. Go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. My topic is about the advanced quality management techniques. Quality control is a vital aspect of manufacturing engineering as it ensures that your products meet the specifications, standards, and expectations of your customers and stakeholders. However, quality control is not a static process that can be performed once and done. It requires constant monitoring, improvement, and adaptation to changing conditions, requirements, and technologies. Advanced quality management techniques encompass a variety of methodologies and approaches aimed at enhancing quality control assurance and improvement process within an organization. So here are some of the advanced techniques commonly utilized. First, we have the Kaizen, which is a Japanese philosophy that is focused on the continuous improvement through a small incremental changes made by every employee. Kaizen promotes a culture of continuous learning and improvement. The concept of Kaizen encompasses a wide range of ideas. It involves making the work environment more efficient and effective by creating a team atmosphere, improving everyday procedures, ensuring that employees' engagement, and making a job more fulfilling, less tiring, and safer. So, an example of this Kaizen philosophy that I can think of is the job rotation. So, it's a good example for this Kaizen. It has a great impact in the future of the employees. So in my previous work po, ginawa namin to, nag-adapt yung yung dati kong pinagtatrabaho sa department sa local government unit sa particularly po sa accounting office. So every 2 years po ata yun, yung mga permanent employees sa aming opisina, nagkakaroon sila ng switching ng kanilang work or yung job rotation. So only for the permanent employees lang yun and syempre except yung boss. So sa ganitong process po sa job rotation, na-expose yung employees to different or all areas of the organization. So napaka beneficial ito sa organization kasi nga nagiging aware yung kanilang mga members, yung employees sa different tasks na ginagawa ng iba't iba na nilang kagrupo. Kaya mas nagiging ano sila, mas nagkakaroon sila ng knowledge sa different jobs. Then another benefits, it's a wider range of work experience. Siyempre yung job rotation, minamaximize po nito yung pagkakaroon ng wider skills, ng expertise ng isang employee sa pag-perform ng iba't ibang task na meron sa isang company or sa isang department, na nabibigyan po ang bawat isa ng chance na magkaroon ng iba't ibang uh, work experience and growth. At syempre nagiging advantage ito para sa kanilang company dahil yung halimbawa po nagkaroon ng empleyado na may long vacation or long sick leave, syempre mabe-vacant yung position ng isang empleyado. And kahit mabakant yung isang position, syempre tuloy-tuloy pa din po yung mga reports nun. So ang magiging effect po nun, may ibang empleyado na pwedeng pumalit doon dahil nga familiar sila sa job ng bawat isa. Kaya hindi mapapending yung mga reports ng isang department. And another benefit is that it reduces the monotony. Ang monotony, ito yung paulit-ulit na lang na trabaho ng isang empleyado. So, ang job rotation po, nagiging beneficial siya dahil throughout the work experience ng isang empleyado, na-reduce nito yung pwedeng naboboard, pwede kasing magkaroon ng board ang isang employee pag ulit-ulit na lang niya ginagawa ang isang trabaho. Unlike pag may job rotation, syempre, may bagong mga learnings na kailangan siyang aralin, bagong work na kailangan aralin. So, kaya naiwasan yung monotony, na mas naging productive ang isang empleyado at syempre, pwede din ma-build yung kanyang interest sa iba't ibang task na pwedeng ibigay sa kanya. Next philosophy is the design of experiments, or the DOE, a systematic method for determining the relationship between factors affecting a process and the output of that process. Design of experiment allows organizations to optimize processes and identify the most significant factors influencing quality by using a systematic approach to design, execute, and analyze your experiments. You can test the effects and multiple factors and interactions on your output, quality, and quantity. So, an example po of this design of experiment is, halimbawa, meron ka pong isang cake baking na business. So, gusto mong i-try o experiment na gumawa ng masarap na, syempre, mga pastries, mga cakes. So, ang factors na pwedeng ma-involve sa paggawa mo ng experiment, syempre, unang-una po yung oven. Then, meron din yung sugar, flour, and eggs. So, sa levels naman po, pwedeng yung temperature na pwedeng lakasan mo o hinaan yung oven. Sa sugar naman, kung gaano karami, yung amount, pati sa flour and eggs. And sa iyong experiment, per ano mo siya, per factor mo siya i-adjust depending dun sa magiging response or output or result nung cake. Pwedeng according sa kanyang taste, sa consistency, sa color. So pag hindi ka pa syempre satisfied sa kinalabasan, a-adjust mo yung mga factors na yon. Pwedeng halimbawa sa eggs, dadagdagan mo, or yung sa sugar, o syempre kung matabang, dadagdagan mo yun. So ganun yung design of experiments. So mag-experiment ka for every factors and according to a degree of a certain level of those factors to get the response or the output na hinahanap mo sa isang product or sa isa pong service. Another example din naman po, halimbawa gusto mong malaman kung ano yung kung paano mo mapapataas yung work performance sa inyong department or yung sa inyong company. So, syempre, ang mga factors na pwedeng makuha mo doon, pwedeng yung salaries and compensations. So, one of the factor yun So sa pagkarami-rami ng factor, pwedeng ang isa doon yung sa kanila pasweldo nga. So second is pag nalaman mo na yung factor, yung level naman ang i-determine mo. Pwedeng i-increase mo yung individual salaries ng inyong mga empleyado while retaining the number of employees, or pwede naman po na magbabawas ka ng kanilang sweldo, pero magdadagdag ka ng tao. So may dalawa kang maging pwedeng decision doon. Increase mo yung sweldo or and retain the number of employees, or the other way around naman po. And the response or the output na pwedeng mangyari nun, syempre itatry mo yun parehas, yung dalawang levels na yun. So uh, may certain parameters ka syempre na gagamitin. Halimbawa, pwedeng yung overall performance or overall growth after mong experiment yung dalawang levels na napili mo. So, sa magiging result nun, doon ka na magde-decide kung alin yung pipiliin mo po. Next, we have the benchmarking. It's comparing organizational processes and performance metrics to those of best-in-class companies to identify areas for improvement and adapt the best practices. The ultimate goal of benchmarking is continuous improvement. That's something all businesses should aim for. Comparing your business to others can help you generate ideas that you can adapt to get ahead. Siyempre po ang benchmarking, ito yung i-measure mo yung company's standard or yung quality ng company mo, yung performance ng quality mo against the other companies at a certain level. So kahit naman po siyempre mga top corporations na, top businesses na nagkakandak pa din ng mga gantong benchmarking para sila ay maging stay ahead pa din sa kanilang industry. Sa amin naman po, sa aming agency, sa aming department, sa Department of Education po, common po itong ganitong benchmarking, especially po sa mga teaching personnel sa teaching world. Nag-benchmark sila para malaman kung paano yung mga paano nagde-design ang ibang schools ng kanilang classrooms, ng kanilang mga laboratories or facilities, like mga gulayan sa paaralan. Yan, nagka-conduct sila ng benchmarking para maka-adapt din sila sa mga best practices ng other schools or organizations. And sa office setup naman din po, minsan nagaganto din kami sa ibang larger schools na may mga gagandang mga example ng office setups. We do the benchmarking, and during the seminars naman din po and trainings, minsan binibigyan din ng oras yung mga gantong sharing ng ideas or sharing ng best practices from other schools, from other top departments or top performing agencies, para ma-benefit din syempre yung buong agency. Next, we have the statistical process control or the SPC. It is a method for monitoring and controlling processes through the use of statistical techniques. SPC involves measuring process performance, analyzing data, and taking corrective action to maintain process stability and consistency. You can also use control charts, histograms, Pareto charts, and other graphical tools to visualize and compare your data against predefined limits and standards. Another one is the failure mode and effects analysis, or the FMEA, a proactive technique used to identify and mitigate potential failure and risk within the process, product, or system. FMEA assesses the severity, occurrence, and detection of potential failures to prioritize corrective actions. You can estimate the risk priority number, or the RPN, and rank the most critical issues to be addressed. So may dalawang process, which is the failure modes, or means the ways or modes in which something might fail. Failures are any errors or defects, especially ones that affect the customer and can be potential or actual. The second process is the effects analysis, which refers to studying the consequences of those failures. So when to perform a failure mode and effects analysis. So first is when you are designing a new product, process, or a service. Pwede din na when you are planning on performing an existing process in a different way. The third one is when you are when you have a quality improvement goal for a specific process. And the last is when you need to understand and improve the failures of a process. So, pwedeng maging example po dito sa failure mode and effects analysis is halimbawa, meron kang halimbawa restaurant business and gusto mo siyang gawing buffet style yung restaurant. Syempre magkakanda ka po ng pag nagkanda ka nitong failure mode and effects analysis, ah alamin mo po yung mga failure modes kung saan pwedeng magka-problema or yun, magka-problema ang iyong company pag ginawa mo siyang buffet style. Pwedeng halimbawa, ah, maraming pwedeng maging tira-tirang pagkain sa yung restaurant o kaya pwede ding yung pagde-design mo po ng iyong panibagong restaurant dahil bagong setup, syempre i-redesign mo. So, kailangan mo ng mga wider space para sa mga buffet tables. So, ang effect analysis po na ah, pwedeng mga effects ng iyong pagbabago ng setup, syempre magkakaroon ng higher cost or higher expenses doon sa paghalimbawa nga yung madaming tirang pagkain na hindi nabenta, higher cost syempre. At para dun sa sa pagre-redesign mo ng iyong restaurant, syempre additional cost din 'yon. Yun yung kanyang potential effects dun sa mga failures. And according dun sa dalawang failures and effects na nakita mo sa iyong business, kakalculate mo syempre sila according sa kanilang mga risk. Sabi nga dun yung risk RPN, yung risk priority number. So, may certain computation para pagkuha ng RPN para malaman mo kung aling failure or aling problem ng isang company ang mas kailangan i-address na priority para sa pagsasaayos ng mga problems na 'yon. So next, we have the six is the Lean Six Sigma. Ito yung sinabi kanina na din na it combines the principle of Six Sigma and lean manufacturing to eliminate waste, optimize processes, and improve quality. Lean focuses on reducing non-value added activities, while Six Sigma focuses on reducing variation and defects. By using a data-driven and customer-focused approach to define, measure, analyze, improve, and control your process, you can achieve higher levels of efficiency, quality, and profitability. So, isa na din po ito dun sa mga diniscuss kanina ni Miss Vera. Kaya next na po tayo. Ang next is the 5 whys analysis. So, it is a root cause analysis technique used to identify the underlying causes of problems by repeatedly asking why until the root cause is uncovered and appropriate corrective actions can be taken. So an example, here's the 5 whys analysis works. So first process is you have to identify the problem. So ang example na problem po natin dito is we have a printing service business. So ang pwedeng maging an example problem dito ay yung client nire-refuse daw niya na bilhin or bayaran yung dinelivered na leaflets nung iyong printing service. So the next process ang sabi dito is ask why. So after mo po ma-determine yung problem, alamin mo kung ano yung paano nag-occur yung ganong mga problem. So, halimbawa, dun sa binigay nating sample, ang ano dito ay the delivery was late, so the leaflets couldn't be used. So, isang answer dun sa tanong na why, yon. Then the second, sabi dun, the third process pala, sabi is the repeat the process, keep asking why. Dun sa mga sunod na answers, we have the job took longer than we expected. Then the third why, we ran out of printer ink. Then next is the link was all used on a large and last minute order. And the last is we didn't have enough ink in stock and couldn't order new supplies in time. So sa pamamagitan ng pag-determine ng mga reasons, sabi doon keep asking why, yan, nakukuha sa pinakadulo yung pinaka root cause ng iyong problem. Dito sa example, sabi doon kaya pala ayaw bayaran, isang sa main factor kaya ayaw bayaran ng client yung mga leaflets na dineliver or binenta ng iyong business ay dahil sabi doon don't have enough ink in stock and couldn't order new supplies in time. So, yun yung sabi sa fourth process na identify the root cause. And the last will have the implementation of these solutions. So, para ma-prevent yung ganong problem, isa sa solutions na na-determine is yung find an ink supplier who can deliver at short notice so that you can continue to minimize inventory, reduce waste, and respond to customer demand. So, napaka-beneficial po ng ganitong process ng 5 whys analysis sa isang business dahil nga mas maaga po ma-determine yung solution sa mga possible problems by asking multiple whys multiple whys. So sa pamamagitan nga nun, nalalaman natin yung mga solutions na pwedeng mag-mitigate para sa mga root causes to prevent the problems from na pwede pang mangyari at para din po hindi na maulit yung mga ganong problems base dun sa examples na ating mga binigay. At yun lamang po ang aking report. Salamat po.
Okay, so advanced quality management techniques also include quality function deployment or QFD, which involves translating customer requirements into specific product features and design characteristics. So QFD helps organizations align product development efforts with customer needs and preferences, leading to higher levels of customer satisfaction and product quality. So failure mode and effects analysis or yung FMEA is an advanced technique used to identify and mitigate potential failures, modes, and risks in processes, products, or system. Failure mode and effects analysis helps organizations proactively address potential quality issues, reduce the likelihood of defects or failures, and enhance product reliability and safety. Statistical process control is another advanced quality management techniques that involves monitoring and controlling processes using statistical methods and control charts. Now, SFC or the statistical process control helps organizations detect process variation, identify root cause of quality problems, and take corrective actions to maintain process stability and consistency. Design of experiment or yung DOA is an advanced technique also used to systematically explore and optimize process parameters and variables to achieve desired quality outcomes. Design of experiments helps organizations understand the effects of different factors on process performance and identify optimal process setting for improved quality and efficiency. So again, as our presenter mentioned, advanced quality management techniques play a vital role, no, in helping organizations achieve excellence in quality, performance, and customer satisfaction. Because I think by adopting advanced tools, the methodologies and strategies, and organizations can drive continuous improvement, reduce defects, and enhance the value they deliver to customer and to stakeholders. I believe, no, effective implementation of advanced quality management techniques requires strong leadership commitment, employee engagement, and culture of continuous learning and improvement throughout the organization. So I think that's it for this topic.